Guys, I'm going to say something that's going to shock you. People who live in Europe are one of the poorest people in the world. Yes, I said it. They are poorer than people who live in Africa. I'm saying this because we live here, we work, but we don't even see the money. Someone who live in France, for example, if you are living alone and you are earning 1,500 euro, which is a normal average salary for layman's job. Now, with the 1,500 euro, your bill for house rent is already around 800 euros. Your electricity bill 100 euro, that's 900. Now bills like telephone bills, the box you have in the house for TV and fixed phone, plus your house insurance, say 100 euro, you are already in 1,000 euro. If you have a car, your insurance, say you are paying like 100 euro, that's 1,100. Now that car should be a second-handed car, because if it is a new car and you have to be paying a sum of about 300 euro a month, you are already out of line. So let's stay with a second-hand car. You are paying just insurance. Now you have other things like foodstuffs. Before, it was so normal that someone would spend like 150 euro for food in a month for a single person, but nowadays it is not possible. No matter how you economize, you are still going to spend not less than 200 euro just to eat. So say foodstuff 200 euro, that's 1,000, how much? About 1,300 already. To the fuel, the car you have, you are going to fuel it, and in a month, say you are going to work with your car and you are doing every other thing with your car, you will still spend like 100 euros. So you are already now, well, that's how much? 1,400 euros. And there are still other bills apart, because you are paying health insurance, you are paying other little bills which I've not mentioned. The ones I've mentioned are just the main things that almost everyone pays for them to live here, which means that you cannot even save. You cannot save if you are living alone. Now let's take, for example, if you people are two in the house, say a husband and a wife, that is better, because if the husband has 1,500 and the wife has 1,500, you put the two together, that's 3,000 euros. So but now when you have kids, 2 to 3, your house rent will not be 800 anymore. Maybe you will have a living and maybe 3 bedrooms, and houses like that usually cost like 1,000 euro. Okay, you have 1,000 euro. Now you have now food stuff for the 5 of you is going to be not less than 700 euro for the 5 of you in the house. Your kids are going to school, you are going to pay canteen bills, you are going to pay a whole lot of things. You are still going to pay, your electricity will be more higher than for a single person, your gas bill will be higher also, mobile phones, if you are you Jesus Christ, what am I even talking? Guys, the situation is so bad. And years ago, say 4 years ago, we were talking about increment in the prices of fuel, in oil and things like that, and a lot of people said it is because of the crisis in Ukraine and Russia. But guys, up to now, things are not better. I mean, the crisis has not yet finished, but we know that it is not as it used to be. But what about increment in rent? Because then it was like the fuel and oil, it was just those two things that were really, really expensive. But now rent is more expensive. Every year you have the charges for your house rent. They keep increasing charges for things like water bill, chauffage, all those things, heating system and all that. They keep increasing. First of all, I know that if prices of things are really increasing in the society, it means that there is inflation, and the government is trying to take back money from the society. But for how long are they going to do this? Is too much. Oh, people cannot survive anymore. Electricity, gas, it has skyrocketed. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Do you know that before in Belgium, prices of foodstuff there were cheaper than in France? But recently I went to Belgium, and the price of 1 kilo of plantain was 4.50 euro. 4.50 euro. Here in France, we buy for 3 euros. So it is already far much, more expensive than here. If you want to buy just Maggi, I mean bouillon, what we use to season our food, over there is 3.99 euro. I came here also, I saw the same thing. But like 2 weeks ago, it was 3.50 euro. But I've gone to some shop, they are still selling 3.50 euro. Other shops, they are selling 4 euro. I don't understand. But I cannot believe this, because the prices of things are increasing while the salary is not increasing at all. And France has this system. They don't want people to work many hours. They believe that a normal normal full-time job should be around 151 hours. Say in a week you are working 35 hours. That's the normal standard. Now if you want to work extra, you can work up to 48 hours in a week. 48 minus 35 is how many? That is just like 13. You have, that's just 13 extra hours. Say if you are working with one employer and you are working full time 35 hours a week. Now if you want to look for another job so you can have more money to be able to pay your bills and have a normal average life, which employer is going to employ you just for 13 hours a week? Yes, you are going to work there part-time, but 13 hours is just too small. And now there is this law that says that if you work more than 48 hours a week, that it means you are going to pay a certain fine to the government of about 3,000 euro. And there are a whole lot of complications, and so many people are already falling into this trap, which means that the government does not want us to do two jobs. They are complicating the lives of almost everyone. We are having too much expenditure just to live, and we want to work to better our situation, but the government does not want us to work. If you start working today, by the end of the month, you'll realize that canteen bills for your children have gone up. You know, if the government was assisting you with anything, they are going to stop it also. You are going to pay everything from your pocket. So why are you going to look now for a second job? Because that second job is just, you are going to use the money to pay all the other increments of things in your bills, and finally you are not going to have anything in your pocket. So what is the sense of doing a second job? Which means that they want us to just live, like have just enough to take care of yourself and be okay. Nothing is going to be left in your pocket. You are not going to have any savings, and you are not going to be able to own anything. A lot of foreigners in this country, they want to own houses. They want to, you know, like invest in something for their kids. But how are they going to do it? I mean, congratulations to all those people who have been able to buy a house in this country. Because people who have not yet bought any house, my sister, take your time, sit down and try to calculate everything. If you go to the bank and they give you the analysis of your bank account and the way money goes out and come in, you yourself, you will know that in the next 10 years you will not be able to buy a house. Yes, the situation is so bad. People cannot deal with it anymore, which means that we are here just to live, get old, die without owning anything, without leaving anything behind for our kids. So you finally see that with the 1.5 that you have, you cannot even live, you cannot even eat to your satisfaction. What is that? It is so difficult. Now, in some vicinity, prices of electricity are quite cheaper than others. I don't know if the government subsidize some of these things so as to encourage people to go live in those areas where electricity are cheaper. But all I'm saying is that whether you people are living together with like with your partner, or you are alone, things are so expensive. You cannot be able to pay all your bills and still have money to save. The only country that is still cheaper, from what I know, is Germany. I usually go there to buy things, these hygienic products like you know, cleaning detergents, toilet tissues, things like that, and I realize they are cheaper there than here. And even chicken, the layers, strong chicken, you know, it used to be €2.50 for one chicken, a chicken that will weigh like 1,200 grams. Now it's not like that. 1,200 grams of strong chicken now will cost you like €4.50. What is that? Let me not even talk about meat. Meat used to be like €6 per kilo. But the meat that was €6 per kilo right now is €10. There used to be this other part of meat that has a little bit of fat. It used to be €4.50. Right now it is €7.50. What? I don't know how we are going to survive, guys. It is not possible. And this is happening all over Europe. I don't know if the people living in the US are facing the same thing, but this is what I have noticed. And from my calculations, there is no way you can be working, like doing one single job, and you are able to pay all your bills and still be able to save any money. Because even electricity and gas, the bills of these two things have skyrocketed. Guys, it is not possible. What are we going to do? In France, they have this law that you cannot have two jobs, two full-time jobs. In the US, you can do even 3 or 4 jobs. It just depends on you. If you have the power to work, you work, have your money, you pay your bills, and then you can use the rest to do whatever you want to do, save, invest, and so on. But in Europe, especially in France, for example, the government does not encourage people to do 2 jobs. If you start a second job now, by the end of the month, you realize that all your bills have increased. For example, things like rent. Here they have something they call APL to support people who have average salary. They can support you with 50 euros, 100 euros. They give some people more. People who don't work at all, they really support them. People who are working and they have just average salary, they will give you something, say 50 euros. But now, if they say average salary to them is 1.5 and you are earning like 2,500, they will not give you one dime. They will not support you in anything. You will see that the bills of your kids, say canteen bills, they have all increased. The rent has increased. Everything. When your tax declaration comes, you look what you have to pay back to the government. You will be shocked. Then finally you ask yourself, why are you even looking for a second job? Because it is like if you go and do a second job, the government is going to collect all the money back from you. And you can even pay back more because there are lots of laws. If you don't follow this one, you have a fine. If you don't do this, you have a fine. Do you know that in France, the normal working hours is 35 hours? They can allow you to work to a maximum of 48 hours. But if you are already working with an employer and you are doing 35 hours full-time job, usually they will not want you to exceed. But now, if you say you want to look for another job, it means you have to look for a job that you will work just 13 hours in a week. Which employer is going to employ you to come and do just 13 hours in a week? 13 hours is so small. Because 13 plus 35 will give you 48. Yes, I think it will give you 48. That's the maximum hours that you can work. So if you're already doing 35 with one employer, you go to a second employer, you are looking for a job. They will give you a job even if you want part-time, but I bet you it will be more than 13 hours in a week. And now when you are working more than 48 hours in a week, now just know that you are open to fines. You can pay a fine of about 3,000 euros. You can have problem with your first employer or even the second employer because they are not allowed to give you a job that is more than 48 hours. So what happened? A lot of people, they are so confused. They cannot do two jobs. So they need to stick with the one job that they have. And if they stick with the one job that they have, they will not be able to take care of themselves. They will not be able to save money to do anything. They will not be able to buy a house or invest in anything. So how can we survive this? A lot of people who have children, they really want to buy a home. Something that they are sure will be like a base for their kids. But how are they going to do it? You know, if you go to the bank now to make all these calculations, even the bank, when they see the amount of money that goes out from your account, because money keeps going out, but it does not come in. You have just one salary. The money that goes out is even more than the money that came into your account. So you are either using overdraft all the time. Most people now have, consider overdraft as part of their money. Because your own money is not enough to take care of you. So you are forced to be in debt all the time. People borrow money, they keep borrowing money for household expenditures. And household loans, they have one of the highest rates. Their interest rate is so high. But because things are so strong, people will borrow. They will go and borrow 1,000 euro, 1,500. At the end of the day, maybe they will use a year to pay it because they always tell you, even if you'll be paying it 200 or 300 euros a month, the bank will say no. From your expenditure, it shows that if you pay 300 euros a month, you will not be able to take care of yourself. They'll want you to pay like 60 euros a month. Calculate 60 euros a month for how many years you are going to pay that loan. Just 1.5. Finally, you see that the interest rate, you pay interest rate for about 500 euros just because you took a loan of 1,500. What sense does that make? What sense does that make? People cannot survive anymore. Life has become so difficult that finally we don't even know what to do anymore. We cannot do two jobs. The government does not encourage it. Yes, we are in Europe. You have to stick to one job, which means that the government is forcing us to live just the normal basic life. The government does not want us to progress. It is like the only way you can progress is by either going back to school, study to really do a white-collar job. And how many white-collar jobs will even pay you a salary of 3,000? How many? I've seen a lot of people who are graduates with master's degree earning 2,500. People who did nursing, they are earning 2,000 euros. 2,000 something, 2,500 maximum, depending on your experience. So what do they want? Do they want us to go and be everyone cannot be a doctor. Everyone cannot be a lawyer. Everyone cannot be an IT specialist. Everyone cannot be an engineer. So if we stay with the little jobs that we are doing right now, we are never going to be able to climb up the ladder. I wish they would allow people to do 2 jobs, so that even if you are earning just 2,000 euro in your job, you can at least do another job and have maybe 1,000 euro to make 3,000, so that you can be able to save something to change or better your life. But they are not accepting that. So what does the government want us to do? Guys, it's a pity. And for that reason, I'm going to say people who live in Africa are far much better than us. Because even though they will not have too much money to live the kind of life we are living, like the standard of living here is high, yes, but the people who are hardworking in Africa, most of them, they own a house. If you see them living in a house, it is their house, they own it. If you see them driving a car, they own it. It is not, they don't do these mortgage things there. You know, the level of security for loans, interest, all those kind of things is not really good there. But I know that most people who have something like a house or a car, they bought it like down payment, all the money, all cash down payment. That is what it is. So you go there, you see them living in their houses, driving their cars. It is theirs. They are not owing any money to anyone. No, they did not borrow money from somewhere to do it. Most of them, guys, people in Africa are better than us now, because they have some kind of investment or property. We have nothing. And that is why I'll advise anyone here, if you have families and friends who keep asking you for money all the time, it is time we tell them that there is no way we can support them anymore. Not because we don't want to support them back home, but because we don't have it. The problem is when they see us, sometimes when we dress good, we go out, we hang out, you know, with friends in the party and things like that. When we are looking good, they think that that is the way we live all the time. No, that is not. It is not. Sometimes we are so stressed that when we hear about a party, even if we are not invited, we are just happy to go there, because we want to ease out some of this burden, some of this stress. No, there is nothing. And when you stay here for like 20 years and you have nothing, you go back home, the people home will still laugh at you. Yes, I'm saying this to all foreigners who are here. The life here has become so difficult that we cannot save anything. We cannot invest. So if we keep following that system which our elders did before, when they came here, they work and they try to support us back home. Then they had the money. Right now, we don't have the money. If you are supporting anyone, please try to make sure that you know what that person is going to do with that money. If it is school, things like health problems, those are all different things. But if someone just come and say, I'm having difficulties, can you just support me? I need 100,000 for this. I want to go for a burial and things like that. My brother and my sister, I'm advising you right now, tell them that you don't have it, because you will have to work for like 6 months to be able to save that 100,000 that you send down there. It is not easy. But what can we do? What can we do? So the life now is we just sit and wait. So we grow old and we die and leave this world without having anything. It is so frustrating. Well, guys, stay blessed, and I don't know if I should say you should have a nice day, but I'm not having a nice day. Right? Bye-bye. Thank you. Ciao.